Roar. Lots to talk about in regards to Detroit sports. I mean, it's not even close.
It's not looking good. That schedule.
Well, yeah. That's why I wish EVJ was out here, and he was supposed to call in. I'm hoping I know he's 3 hours behind us on the West Coast, so maybe he's caught in California traffic or something.
Traffic.
Because I really want to hear Joe's perspective.
I can already tell you what he's going to say.
What he's going to say?
Well,
He's going to win. He's going to go 17-0
or 16-1.
Well, it's possible. I think there's going to be. I know we talked about it. I think they're going to be better than 9-8. You're right.
I do too.
But we thought the schedule last year. We talked about that last year. We thought the schedule. You and Tony were.
No. No.
Yeah.
I thought it. I had him at 9 last year. I thought they would be at 9. I didn't think they would win 15 games. I don't think nobody thought that. But I had them at 9 wins last year.
But we didn't think they were going to win as much as they did the year before either.
No, that's when they went to. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's
2 years in a row.
That was the window close game.
Yeah.
That was the windows closed.
Yeah.
And then it got closed again last year with Daniels at the helm. And Goff doing what he usually does. Pick. 5. So it's now 7 teams that won a Super. So in Super Bowl history, of all the Super Bowls in the world, 10,000 of them, it's only 7 teams now, or 8, that won a Super Bowl with an average quarterback and an average coach. So maybe the Lions do have a chance.
I think
Jalen Hurts is average to me. Average. He's not a great quarterback. And Sirianni's definitely not a great coach. But you know what won it?
Well,
that defense and the running back.
Well, I still think the Lions are going to. I think they're going to be. I think I could see them. I don't know about winning 15 games.
Stuff.
I still think they could win 12 or 13.
Possible.
I mean, you guys didn't think they were going to run the table in the North. You or Tony.
I had him at 9.
And Tony will be on the show coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I had him at 9. I did.
We're going to hear some about his new venture.
Yeah, Tony's got a new venture.
And I want to hear I want to hear all about the rumblings there in U of M. And I know that's one of the topics that you put on the show today.
Yeah, our producer.
Well, so let me say, Sharon getting suspended. I mean,
he's holding the bag. He got left holding the bag.
Well, but when does this all end? You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, this is just getting to be stupid.
Well, they have to punish him at some point because it wasn't. You have to follow up with it. They're just following up. I mean, it's stupid. Like I said, Michigan was going to win anyway. They're the ones that did the dummy stuff and it was true. Everybody's, oh no.
But the Connor Stallions stuff happened when Harbaugh was there.
But
so a year and a half goes by, and now all of a sudden they're gonna do this now.
I don't think you could do it. I think it's it has to go through investigation and all that stuff. So yeah.
I don't know, man.
It's more to the U of M stuff,
right?
But they're gonna punish him. And I don't think he's gonna be the coach there.
You don't think so? You don't think he's gonna stay?
Or
do you think they're just going to get rid of him?
I think they're going to.
I think they're going to have. Listen,
I think they
with
do
all
a year and
all the
gone.
people all these players that they've picked up, I think they have a shot at winning the Big Ten championship. I wouldn't say 100% that they're going to win the NCAA championship, but I think with who they've got, and in who they've got in the transfer portal and all that other stuff with Underwood.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I think they're going to give OSU a run for the money. Nobody thought they were going to beat OSU last year.
They didn't look good.
What's that?
Spring ball, he didn't look good.
Yeah.
I heard, but
we'll see.
That's spring training, just like that means nothing. But everything is a wait and see. Everything's a wait and see. I just don't think Sharon will be there. I don't think he's planted like Harbaugh, like he'll be there for the next 5, 10 years.
But where is he going to go?
Nowhere. Offensive coordinator somewhere, defensive coordinator somewhere. I don't know. I don't think he's going to be a head coach of Michigan. Now, he's going to be a head coach somewhere else. I just don't think he'll be there for like the next 5 years or 3 years or something. I think maybe even after this year.
Do you think
I just don't feel
Do you
it.
think they need a big name? And please don't say Urban Meyer.
I was going to say Urban Meyer.
No.
Bring him back.
He's not coming here.
No, I don't know if they necessarily need a big name. I think they need. I'm not a big more guy, fan wise.
I think he proved himself.
Well, they owed
last
him.
year.
They owed him that. They owed him this. You know, I think Harbaugh was the guy. Obviously, Harbaugh was the guy.
Right.
We know that.
But I mean, they really kind of didn't have. To me, I felt like they didn't have the explosiveness that they had the year before. Obviously,
No.
But I mean, he worked with what he had. I mean, look at Will played half a season.
Well,
You
the
didn't
one
have
piece-
him in the second. Donovan Edwards was to me abysmal. You didn't really have a quarterback, and
No, you did not have a quarterback.
Right. At all.
They got that right.
And you still were able to beat MSU. You still were able to beat Ohio State. And, they finished a lot better than I thought they would. I think a lot of people. Because when we talked about them at the beginning of the season, we said that we didn't think they were going to lose all those games.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the Ohio State game is sure hate. That's just pure hate. I'm gonna beat you up today. You know what I mean? They can win that. They can win that game the next 3 years. Ohio State can win it the next 3 years. But Michigan now has, that game is still the most important to them for some reason. I always thought it was kind of stupid. I get it. But the national championship, Michigan is national championships now. They got 2. They've never won a whole bunch. They're not always in the game like
Right.
the Alabamas, and they need to get to that. I think that's what Michigan is. And we'll have Blank on next week to tell us about it.
I want to talk to Blank too, because he obviously he was a part of this show for quite a long time, and even before we came on the My Michigan TV thing with the Roar.
Yep.
He said that he thought that the state of the NCAA was going to go to basically maybe 2 big conferences.
He said that.
And, I don't know. I just think I need to talk to him more about this.
Yeah, he said
because
what
I
kind
just
of-
feel like, I love college football, but it's changed. It's not. It's like a minor leagues now.
That's exactly
It's
what
not.
it is.
It's not.
No, you don't have a same team. You
No.
can't even root for your same team now. You
can't.
never know who's going to come and play for them. So,
Right.
yeah. We'll talk to Blank next week about the Michigan stuff. See what he thinks.
Right.
See if he thinks more will be there. But he's definitely out for 3 games.
Yeah.
You got to pay at some point.
Well,
You might have to pay
the
right there.
year that Harbaugh won the NCAA champ, I think he was out for 6 games, wasn't he?
That team was filthy.
Yeah.
That team was nasty.
What else did you have on the topic?
You know what?
list?
I'm trying to figure out this Menendez stuff. The Menendez brothers. Parole could be. Take me back to the 90s. Is this when this happened?
Yeah. They've been in jail since like 90 or 91.
So let's go back to this. They killed their parents.
Yes. So they
Right.
said they were abused.
Was that ever proved?
Honestly,
It's so muddy for me right now.
I mean,
They went to jail. Didn't they go to jail when the juice?
yeah,
trial was going?
no, that was before the juice.
Like
It was
92?
89 that they killed
Jeez.
killings. So yeah. 89. Yeah.
89.
Kim Kardashian said, "Free the Menendez brothers." That's according to NBC News. Listen,
So was it ever proved? That they were being molested And was the mom, or was it just the dad? Like I'm trying to revisit it because I saw it on Today Show. Like they, coming up, and the judge can grant them, and they can go free. And
Yeah, was it ever proved? I don't know, because it's just
didn't look it up,
for me, when you said to talk about that today, I was just like, I really would like to have somebody more have more knowledge on this case.
let's get Jared. Jared's a smart guy here.
Yeah.
Let's get Jared. Jared, what do you got?
Yeah,
I know it's way before your time.
But I think
Jared up.
these young people. That's the reason why this thing's even gotten any steam.
Yeah,
is because of the Menendez brothers Netflix thing.
Jared, help us out with this. I didn't watch that.
Did you watch it, Jared? I know you're a Netflix guy.
I did not, actually. Sorry about that.
But no, that's okay. But I mean, I'm sure you've heard about. I mean, obviously, it's probably even before you were born.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
That has happened. But a lot of these younger generations are picking up on these
Bad things.
These bad things, these murderers and stuff.
Right.
And I think these true crime kind of documentaries is, they're kind of softening these murderers a little bit.
So yeah, I think we'll get into that after this real quick. So Jared, can you find out? Do you know was the abuse, the sexual abuse, ever proved?
I can find out.
Okay.
I don't know. I will look it up.
Did
though
they
right now.
actually? Yeah, because I'm, like I said, I can't.
It's
remember.
nothing like being prepared for the show.
Right. I kind of threw Jared on the spot there.
Well, you threw me a Jared on that one, so it's all good. No, I mean, I just don't know. I mean,
they're making movies out of it.
I mean,
and
that's what I'm saying.
so I thought, and I need some help with another thing too. Law.
What's that?
I'm no lawyer, but when people get convicted of murder, what is 25 to life? You have to do 25, and then we'll consider something else before life.
I think it's 20. You have to do at least
When people say
25,
25?
and then I think you're eligible for parole
At 25?
Parole after 25
Okay,
years,
gotcha.
and they've already been in.
45.
Seems like it.
But don't you think that's an accurate time, life for life?
Well, I mean,
Or is it case by, obviously, case by case.
But then you look at R. Kelly. R. Kelly stuff.
Now we're going to get into the Diddy. His trial's going
Then
to.
the Diddy thing too.
We'll get
I
into
mean,
that in a minute.
I just don't know, man.
You murder your parents?
And my thing is, if me not
guess
knowing
the law.
100% of what that is, if they did get abused, wouldn't they have seen that before?
What do you mean?
Yeah, they were abused.
Mm-hmm.
We'll give you a lighter sentence if they
Oh,
were.
if the
You know what I'm
oh,
saying? Because
okay.
I'm sure
Gotcha.
psychologists and all that
Yeah.
other stuff were in on this.
Yeah.
It was a huge case back in
Yeah.
the day. That was around when all that happened. I think that was. I figured the 89 was the
89.
murder, so
Yeah.
90. I was around a high school senior.
Mm-hmm. Yep, me too.
I mean, it did make big news.
Yeah, it did. I remember.
But I thought, if I'm not mistaken, I remember everybody thought they were guilty, and they should be in jail.
Yeah.
But like I said, now it's been 30-some years later,
Yeah.
over 30 years later, and people are kind of changing the tune on it.
Softening up. There we go.
Yeah, so this is what I got on the Menendez brothers. So it looks like this is an article. This is an article from NPR. Essentially, it's saying here, newly discovered evidence that directly supports the defense was presented at trial. And it goes on to say, the new evidence includes a letter Eric Menendez wrote in 1988 to his uncle Andy Cano, describing the sexual abuse he had endured from his father. The The brothers asked their lawyers about it after it was mentioned in a 2015 Barbara Walters television special. So it looks like it was that may be there may be other evidence, I don't know, but that seems like the general gist of it.
So, abuse at the hand of the dad. And I also heard somewhere that the mom knew.
I had heard that too.
Yeah,
I had heard that too.
Wasn't that kind of? So, did they have a bad lawyer? Because that's only a little because they've been in jail.
But you know what though? It's a different time.
Yeah, it is.
It really is a different time. Like back in the day, I mean, like I said, I think the viewpoints on certain murderers and stuff is softened compared to what it was back. I mean, it was either, I don't know. When you look at different cases, even like the OJ thing, look at him. He got off.
He did. He did.
And if you listen to his lawyers talk about it, they did. I mean, there's a prime example of having lawyers that got you off.
Well,
if you
Shapiro was like,
yeah,
Shapiro knew.
Well,
from
what Shapiro said in recent interviews, though,
he said he did it.
No, well, he said the evidence
wasn't there.
pointed that the blood was tainted and all that other stuff. So, I mean, listen, we could talk about these nutballs all day long.
So I know this is off script, but Jared, look, can you look one more up for me? The Jan Benet,
they never found him. Person. No.
So no parents, never found out the killer for her.
Not at all.
Wow, interesting. So I'm going to follow that and see what Obviously, it's going to be news.
We're having Jared pick up cases before he was born.
Very good.
Yeah. Well, he's smart. He's a smart guy.
You know why we need to revisit this is I would like to hear. I got to get Charlie back on here. He would be a guy that would know it.
Yeah, let's get him back.
Because this is a good topic.
It is. It is. I said, wow, like, I just didn't remember back then where the parents, I did hear, like, later that the mom knew and allowed it, but I didn't hear, if it was actually
Well, to me,
true.
It sounds like, obviously, maybe, like I said, this case is over 30 years old.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds to me like maybe they didn't have the lawyers that, obviously they didn't have the lawyers that the Jews had.
Right.
I mean,
Juice had the juice.
I'll jump in here real quick.
Go ahead.
So you had mentioned the lawyer, and like that was interesting to me. So I looked up, what people thought about her back then, and it seems from what I can tell that she was a very good defense attorney. The year before, they're saying that she defended a 17-year-old who faced charges of first-degree murder against his father. So a very, very similar case. And she was able to get him prove his innocence there, or that was the result of it. So I think it had more to do with the fact that the Menendez brothers were like 18 and 21. They were being tried as adults, and it was a high-profile case, from what I can tell.
Okay.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get Charlie on here.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure he would have been in the thick of it, as a
Absolutely.
law enforcement officer,
Absolutely.
and I'm sure he kept up on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we go from trial to trial.
Trial to trial.
Third day Diddy trial. Second day Diddy trial. What do you think?
I just think that I was talking with someone about this the other day, and she made the point of saying that is it enough to put him in jail for the rest of his life?
As of right now, no.
No. But from what we've heard so far, I don't, with this Cassie thing, it makes you wonder, well, why didn't she just go? Why didn't she just leave? But then you hear about people that are in abusive relationships that, for some ungodly reason, there's some kind of a tie there, and they stick around. Mm-hmm. Maybe I can change them kind of a viewpoint, or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's just those kind of things. Mm-hmm. I mean, as sick and disgusting as it is, is it a crime that, obviously, what he was having her have sex with other guys and watching it. It was kind of weird, but that's not a crime. Is kind of as disgusting as it is. Mm-hmm. It's not a crime.
Yeah,
it's not a crime to have. If that's what you're there's so many people out there, swingers.
they would have had their arrest.
That are out there that do this all the time.
The whole Playboy mansion. Nobody was.
Yeah.
They would have had to do. I think that
look at the Don Cornelius thing that was alleged.
Yeah.
Yeah. Had him tied up for days in the underground grotto or whatever.
Yeah. Well, today they had response. Cassie responding saying, she couldn't wait to freak off.
Do you think it's just this?
That's kind of like, that's still kind of boyfriend and girlfriendish. You can put it at that. That's not, that doesn't mean that I want to get my head bashed in after freaking off. You know what I mean? So that's kind of.
Obviously, is he guilty of assault according to what you've seen on that stupid hotel video? Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm not condoning that. Mm-hmm. But where does the responsibility? Some responsibility has to be put on Cassie. You know what I'm saying? If you didn't want to do these freak-offs, why did you just stay? My opinion is
traumatized, scared,
but
afraid.
Not wanting to leave that lifestyle.
Afraid that
she could get whatever she wanted.
That could be.
And I'm sure when she did those things, I'm sure it'll come out. Did you get this? Did you get?
Could be.
Don't want to. So what are you left with? Oh, I'm leaving. What are you left with? Of course he said, he had videotaped it for blackmail purposes, but is that enough to get you to stay?
Well,
because Cassie wasn't Whitney Houston, like it was going to completely tear down her career.
No, You know
what I'm saying on that?
So today they said that in 2013, he paid her $20 million to make a rape charge go away. That was in a post. $20 million in 2013.
I think the reason why this got caught back up is because
the video.
Well, the video, and then I think he kind of refused to pay her the rest of the money. Is that what I heard?
No, he settled. He settled with
the whole thing.
Yeah, he settled with her. At first, he did. Maybe had he settled in the beginning.
But why do you think the feds got in on it?
Well, that could be more stuff. That's why we're saying
because
that.
I heard something about she has 3 laptops full of stuff.
That could be. Now that's where you get into the criminal stuff, because now this isn't criminal. This is just disgusting behavior.
Right.
So that ain't and once a woman beater, always a woman beater to me. So he's been doing this obviously before. That to me, that's a crime. That's a moral crime. That's a crime to me. That's just a bad person, devilish act, crazy. Kids and children and older folks are supposed to be off limits. But now that's nothing criminal to put them away for life.
Oh, I agree. I agree with that.
Criminal charge, guns.
But here's my thing: the
stuff that they have,
we've seen people with.
It's still early in the trial.
Yeah, we've seen people with the feds. Mm-hmm. Feds aren't going to get in on a case if they don't have something.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So it's like I said. Just started.
I think the difference between this and the R. Kelly thing, in my own opinion, is R. Kelly had underage girls.
And Diddy's a bigger fish.
Yes. And I think, too, he did have, according to all these people that came out, kidnapped, basically. They tied him away kept him away from their family and friends and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that was the biggest thing, too.
Yeah.
But the point of the matter is this stuff's been going on long before R. Kelly.
Long before Diddy. Still going on,
Underage.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see it all through history,
Life history, yeah.
entertainment history.
Yeah.
There's something about it goes back to Shirley Temple and Judy Garland. It goes back that far with underage. Shirley Temple, I think, said her and her mom were at a. If I'm remembering this the correct way, that her and her mom went to a meeting with movie execs, and the mom was in one room, she was in another, and one of the guys, like, it pulled down his pants in front of her, and she said, if I'm not mistaken, she said she started laughing, and she didn't, being young like that, you don't know what's going on, and yeah, so it's been going on that long. Since the early 1900s. Yeah. So, is this enough to throw Diddy under the
now
20 to 30 years? No, but I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they would have had the
Put
feds
all
this together just to say out of the first few days, out of the week, out of this trial, that this is. Because my thing is, why if that's the case, isn't that kind of he said she said?
Because, well, the proof, they have the proof of that, like other witnesses. But right now, we just know him as a drug addict, alcoholic, sex-crazed lunatic. Right now. I mean, we don't know what other charges. And if you go by the law, that's not.
It makes you wonder, though. You hate to say this, but it makes you wonder if how many people are on these tapes, who the big wigs that could be on these tapes that don't want to get out, that you're going to try to see this stuff get, I just think this is going to be a roller coaster of a trial.
It's going to be something else. But I don't think, they said Weinstein, not Weinstein, who was the other one?
In the case?
Epstein. They said Epstein had tapes. Where are they?
Well,
where are they?
I'm sure that's why Epstein allegedly killed himself in jail.
But where are the tapes?
That's what I'm saying. I think what can happen in this kind of stuff.
So
they find this stuff, and then be like, oh wait, this guy's on it. This guy's on it. We can't have that, and they either pay to get it. Somehow miraculously gets lost, or
I think
they could be reviewing these tapes and be like, well, we can't have that guy on here. We can't have this on here. I mean, even in the Epstein case, there was a lot of high profile.
Yeah, they were mentioned.
I mean, we talked about that before on the show, the Epstein thing, and alleged people that were
mentioned going on the island. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Maybe it could be the same thing with Diddy because look at. T.D. Jakes was allegedly at these parties, and all of a sudden now, whether you could say it's health concerns or whatever the case may be, he stepped down from his church. Mm-hmm. You don't know. Obviously, people somehow these things are. I think it's going to be. This is almost kind of more. It's not as live action as the OJ thing, because the OJ thing for the longest time, it captivated. Everybody was watching it every day, and where I don't think you're seeing that, you don't have that live TV coverage like you did with that.
And it was a murder case,
right? It's different, but yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It just this whole thing is crazy, and it just seems like it's getting crazier. But you hate to say it, I mean. People that are in abusive relationships stay for whatever reason, because it's easier, like I'm saying, it's easier said than done. What are they staying for? Some people stay because there's kids. You don't want to leave. The kids are there or whatever. But Cassie didn't have any kids with Diddy.
And they keep using coerced. I mean, for other people. Like, was there a gun involved? Like, making me stay and coercing, like, that's a lot. Like, that's a lot of people to coerce. Like, it's just going to be, I think it's going to be an uphill battle for the prosecution, but I think it's going to be more of an uphill battle it's going to be a back and forth type deal. Because if somebody puts you into a position that you're uncomfortable and there's no force, there's no
Well, they did show in the court, and it wasn't shown to anybody but the jury.
And Cassie's pregnant.
The freak off images, and I guess the court fell silent according to this news report. So obviously there's pictures.
So why do you keep calling it? Why do you just not call it orgies? Why do you keep calling it freak offs? Isn't that when a whole bunch of people get together?
That was probably the new hip hop name.
Oh,
freak
okay.
offs.
Freak off.
Maybe orgy was too 70-ish. Orgy was too porn.
Orgy.
They had to freak
Had to
off.
call it something jazzy.
Something jazzy.
Freak off. Well, we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's going to be some more stuff, but we'll see.
How do you like these pictures coming out of Diddy? They said I heard a story. They said he's starting to look like Claude from Life.
His hair is all white.
They said with the beard and everything, he looks like Claude from Life.
My whole thing is bigger picture here. Bigger thing. Your daughters.
Yeah.
Well, your children. But mainly the daughters, because they're daughters. That's what this is. Isn't it? To me, that would be the most gut-wrenching thing. Like, your daughters? Is that how you want somebody to treat your daughter?
That's true.
Kick her, punch her?
Well, this news report.
Man, you have to face your kids after freak off, dragging a woman. Just all this alleged craziness.
So, according to this, here's the summary. Combs' defense lawyer, Anna Estavio, began with questions about their relationship, asking Cassie if she loved the rapper and if she knew a version of him the public didn't, to which she said yes. The text messages between the couple who were together for about 11 years was the focus of much of the hearing today.
Oh, that's the case. That's a part of it. The longevity, 11 years. That's a decade.
Combs called her baby girl and said, "I love you so much it makes me cry." These are some things and then questionings turned to the freak-offs, and they said, "We had heard so much about it at the trial so far sessions, which Diddy paid male escorts to have sex with Cassie while he watched."
That's not love.
No, it's not love. And what part of this becomes mental illness?
All of it.
Yeah.
A lot of it. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
And,
She's really
of course,
traumatized.
according to this, sexually explicit messages were showed to express her enthusiasm
Right.
about
That's
the
what I said.
freak-offs.
Yeah. That she
Can't
was ready
wait.
to go.
Can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But that can be, but like I said, you can say that to, you call your girlfriend, "Hey, I can't wait to see you. I'm going to make love to you." And then she can say, "I can't wait." Like I said, it doesn't mean bash my head in after the whole thing is over, or bust my lip, or drag me down the hallway.
but really, though, when you look at this, from what I'm seeing here, that's really not even the hotel thing. Yeah, that's there, but this is more of just the
It's way
drugs
more.
that were taken.
Yeah, by both. I
The
think they
the
said.
swinger lifestyle.
Yeah. Swinging is not a crime.
No. No, it's not. But she did say no drugs in baby oil were ever used in the freak-offs.
Now, if she said that,
I mean, it's a sad state of affairs.
all the way around, like I said, more importantly, the daughters. And then Cassie's kids.
And of course, I'm sure we'll see more of.
See, nobody's
going to-
nobody's mentioning that. Like the daughters, Cassie has kids.
Yeah, he's got kids.
He's got daughters. You know what I mean? It's a bad state of affairs all the way around to me. And she's having another child. So how do you look your kids in the eye and say, I was a part of this? This is no doubt both of their legacies. When you think of Cassie, what are you going to think of? Not her one song. You're going to think of this foolishness.
Well, she said in these interviews too that she felt dirty and grimy afterwards. I mean, listen, when you're hopped up on pills or drugs, you're going to do a lot of things that you probably wouldn't do if you were sober.
Diddy's a control freak. Power, control, obsessed. All of the above. It's a bad thing. It's a bad thing.
What else you got?
What do you got? I got,
You had some more stuff on the list.
yeah, that new pope. New pope. I want to get Jared. Jared is new pope, first time pope.
Well, I don't think Jared's Catholic.
He's not Catholic?
No.
Okay. I thought. But yeah.
We
new
could always
pope.
get his opinion on
Yeah.
it.
I wanted to know from somebody here who's smarter than me. I get it. I get the Pope. I get the title. So what is the Pope's day-to-day job? Seriously, and I'm not trying to be. I know he's the Pope. He's the high priest over all the Catholic priests and cardinals and things like that, bishops. But what is is it like a world peace thing? Is it to go around the country? Is it
I think
Mother
he's
Teresa?
I think he's a figurehead. To me, I mean, I'm not Catholic, so I couldn't tell you, but isn't he kind of just like the figurehead of the Catholic Church?
But you can't just sit back and be the figurehead. I mean, I know you can be.
I'm sure he has his opinion. I mean, it's like that. Whatever.
Does he manage the church? I mean, does he run all the churches?
Yeah, I think so. The Roman Catholic churches.
Yeah.
I looked it up. I think that's a great question.
Yeah.
Corey, I saw what this topic was coming up, so I was looking up, what does the Pope actually do? Because I'm not Catholic.
Yeah.
And it's he seems to be very important, and
Yeah.
there's the last week or so, it seems like the news cycle, he's been in it every day.
Mm-hmm.
And why? So,
Yeah. I went to Catholic school. I just wanted to know, if anybody else had any does he go around? I know he goes around the world, and I get it, but I don't get it. The day to day, and we have this is the first pope that's American, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course, he's only lived in America a third of his life. He's been in Italy
Okay.
for most of his time. But yeah, I mean, I just think he's a figurehead of the church. I mean,
The highest.
yeah,
priest.
and I think even if you have, anytime you're going to get a new pope, they're going to have some other viewpoints that maybe the other pope might be a little more lenient on than previous popes.
Okay.
But I mean that you could say the same thing for a mega church pastor.
Yeah.
If he steps down and you get another pastor in, he's going to have his viewpoints and he's going to do things the way he wants
a
to.
little bit different. Okay.
So I mean, I think he's a younger guy. I think he's only 69 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I think you probably see him travel a little bit. He might travel kind of like Pope John Paul did. He traveled around. Maybe he needs to come to Detroit. Bless you, boys.
That was the question.
Right.
So I guess that's kind of my question. You know how we have, so for a Baptist or a Lutheran or whatever, they don't have out of all the bishops or the pastors the main guy. You know what I mean? Like, there's no main.
Well, I think the Pope is.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, it's different. That's what I'm asking. Like, he's the main guy for the Catholics. So if you take like all Baptist ministers, there's
Well-
no head.
Well,
There's no
because
Baptist
there's so many offshoots of Baptists. Because you got
Or just-
Southern
yeah.
Southern Baptists, they have their committees. Does Methodists have committees too? There, Jared.
It does. There's some sort of overarching organization, and then they
okay.
bring in. They actually appoint ministers or pastors to each different church. So that's the kind of unique thing about Method. I don't know if many other religions do that, but you can have one pastor one week, and then the next week, there's no vote in the congregation or anything. You might like your pastor or whatever, but they get moved around quite a lot classically.
So Methodist, it's like a board. Is it kind of like a board or just?
Yeah, it is a group of people. It's
Okay.
definitely not one person.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Well, and I think that's like that in the Southern Baptist Convention too, because and then because there's a lot of churches that are in the Southern Baptist Convention, and there's a rules and stuff that you got to follow when you're in these things, and there's a lot of churches that just recently feel that women should be pastors, and the Southern Baptist Convention said, well, if you're going to install these women as pastors, then you're not a part of our convention anymore. So there's a lot of big churches that got kicked out, so to speak. Mega church in California, Saddleback, Rick Warren, and I love Rick Warren. He believes that women should have a place in the church and as pastors, and the Southern Baptist Convention says no. But I mean, that's a mega church. I think they could be self-sustained without being in the Southern Baptist Convention. But that's just my viewpoint. But then I think a lot of other mega churches, when you look at it, I think those are more ministry. The pastor pretty much owns the deal, and it's not run by the elders, or the pastor makes a decision, and if you don't like it, you're out, and he's going to do whatever he wants. I don't think Osteen's church in Texas is under any kind of leadership. But I mean, then you got your Kojic churches. J. Drew Sheard, who's I think is the head guy over the Kojic church in America. So you have those affiliations, and there's so many offshoots of everything, though, Co. I mean, like Baptists, there's Independent Baptists, there's Free Will Baptists, there's Southern Convention, Southern Baptists. I think there's probably a million offshoots of Methodists too, Jared. if I'm not mistaken.
There are, definitely.
And I didn't know this. There's actually offshoots of Catholicism, Catholic churches. There's other Catholic churches besides Roman Catholic. I didn't know that. And I think the Lutherans, there's a million of those.
Yeah.
It's just I think a lot of these conventions or committees or whatever you want to call it, it's just a bunch of churches that share the same viewpoint, and they kind of have a fellowship. And that's how they kind of do things. Because I know growing up, I grew up in an independent Baptist fellowship kind of a church, and literally you could go. If I didn't go to church on Sunday at my church, if I went to some church, if we were on vacation in Tennessee, it would be the same exact way. The churches run the same exact way, on how they run their services and everything else like that. That's just how it goes. I mean, I just think the Pope is the figurehead of the Roman Catholic Church, and of course, the Roman Catholic Church is, worldwide, and he's always. I mean, it's always been a big thing. I don't know if he's made major change. I don't ever remember the Pope making some major changes to things that, really turned the world upside down.
Yeah. And I don't remember in Catholic school, I didn't remember any of the nuns ever giving the service.
Yeah,
I don't remember that at all.
it's true.
Yeah, I don't remember that. So why did the Southern? And we won't get into much religion, folks.
Well,
out
no,
there.
I
We
mean,
know-
it's just a. I
Just-
think
I
it's.
just had
I
a
think
que-
it's when you look at it, it's everybody has their interpretations.
Yeah.
You could go to scripture for the whole pastorships
Yeah.
of women and stuff like that.
So did that Southern Baptist?
They have their
did they say-
viewpoints. They have their viewpoints of their viewpoints of scripture in what the Bible has to say about women being silent, and then you talk to somebody else and they say well, that's not interpreted correctly. It's all about interpretation. I mean, some things can be interpreted like, and you're like, there's no way they interpret it the way they feel it is. But then, the people that are like Rick Warren, he's a historian of in theology and stuff like that. And it's sad that the churches get messed up, in regards to their theology, and I think it takes away from the true message of what Jesus was all about, and that's just my thing. Yeah. That's my opinion on that,
Yeah.
But every religion's different. Every religion's different.
It's the Cohen Bro Opinion Show.
And I think
there we got it.
yeah.
I just wanted to put this up. This is kind
Yeah.
of a map, a family tree, if you will, of the different branches of Christianity. It just kind of goes to show how many different ones there are.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, and then there's churches that are pro LGBTQ, and you got one side of that, and you got another side that say that's not the case, and there's just so many separations with different things, and
So many thoughts,
Yeah.
opinions, so many. Yeah. Wow.
and then you get into the whole hatred thing. Everybody hates this and hates that, and because of this, and nobody. A lot of times, nobody can sit down and just have a conversation. If you're trying to prove your point, then make a valid point.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's
Make
gotta
a
be-
valid
if
point.
yeah.
Don't just tell me, well, why is it? Why do you believe that? Well, it's because I heard this
Right.
person tell me, and my pastor told me this, and you got to read the Bible for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
You really do.
That's very good. That's why you're the host of this show.
No,
Scott.
well, I
That's
mean,
very
it's
good.
just it's the truth.
You
I
have
mean,
to have a valid point.
You can't just. I heard this analogy before, that if you don't read the Bible for yourself and have a relationship with God yourself, you're like a cork on the ocean. You just ride from wave to wave. When everybody says something, oh, I like that, and then next thing you know, there's another wave that comes by, and
Gotcha.
so you just believe in what everybody tells you, and when a lot of times when you look at that kind of stuff, when you really
Makes
read
sense.
it for yourself, you're like, well, wait a minute, that's not what it's really saying.
Yeah.
I
I like that, the valid point thing. I was just talking to somebody previously about make sure the point is valid.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good when it's valid. It's right.
Right.
So that's what it is. You have to back it up with like I could say, golf through 5 picks against Washington.
Here he goes with golf again.
That's a valid.
But I mean, but I mean, even churches
that's
are
good.
divided even with music.
Yeah.
Like there's Baptist churches that will not let you play any kind of instrument. I mean, tape music, or that's what we used to call it back in the day. Oh, they're not allowed to play. You can only play the hymns. You can't sing anything but the hymn book. Yeah, or if you're going to sing a solo, it has to be from a piano. There's no background music. And then there's some churches that are lenient on that.
Our church is so funny because we have 2 services on Sunday morning, 9 a.m. and 11. The 9, we do a full contemporary service, so it's a full band. We got electric guitars, keyboards.
Are you involved in that?
Drum set. Yeah, sometimes I play the piano.
Wow.
It's fun.
Okay.
And then at 11, we all leave, and the choir comes in, and the organist comes in.
Yeah.
And it's completely traditional. And people like it that way. some people only show up to the 11 o'clock because that's the music they like, and vice versa.
And you know what? I see that a lot with my folks. They're not really hip into the contemporary worship. And I can see their point. You know, you grew up growing up, and that's, you know, hymns is what you sang. So hymns is a part of your the way you worship. And sometimes it's hard to like something new, so to speak. And then you got the younger crowd that they don't want to hear hymns.
Right.
But I think it's all in how you present it too, as somebody like me be with music. I just feel like, you know, if you're gonna, there's a lot of bad worship and there's a lot of good hymns. If you're truly worshiping God through hymns, you're gonna get something out of it. You can't just, and then a lot of times you can't just have just random people up on the stage singing and it has nothing on it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? It's, some things are bad, some things are good. You know, I don't know. I guess it's whatever your cup of tea is. But it is true. A lot of these churches, you've seen a lot of them over the past 20, actually 30 years now, probably since the mid-'90s, where you kind of seen the contemporary worship. But there's a lot of these churches, to appease the older crowd, you know, you had your traditional service. And to appease the younger crowd, you had, and it all basically boiled down to music, because the message was the same. The pastor gave the same message. It was just the way I want to worship God this way with music, so I'm just going to go to that. Yeah, you see it all the time.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
good stuff. And I was just asking about.
So he has 13 surprising things you didn't know about the Pope.
Oh, okay.
It's just an article I found that kind of supports that question of like, what does the Pope do?
Yeah. See, I'm not that.
So what's on there, Jared?
Yeah,
Real quick, can we run through that?
Absolutely, let's run through it. So the Pope can be young. There's no age limit.
Oh,
really?
I didn't know that.
I'm surprised they don't go with a younger Pope. You'd think. You think that because it's just the old school, you got to have somebody in there that's old?
I think so.
I think I read this book a while ago, not to get too far into it, but like the last period of your life, that last like 20-year period, your purpose on this earth generally is to provide the wisdom that you've accrued in the last 60, 70, whatever.
Wow.
I read this book that had a theory on that. But that's kind of how I view it.
I can believe that because, I mean, I know like a lot of Baptist churches, you know, a lot of them didn't like real young pastors.
Yeah.
They had, you know, the pastor's 35. What? We can't have that.
Right.
You know, the pastor has to be a certain age. Well,
No,
it doesn't. It should be. Has God called him to be there?
Right.
And if that's where he's supposed to be.
Right.
You know. So, but yeah, I can see that.
The Pope has to be multilingual.
Okay.
I was actually wondering this last week, but that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, that makes
Because
sense.
he has to read like the Latin Bible on day one.
Okay, that makes sense.
Pope goes to confession, apparently.
Ooh, okay.
So I wonder who takes his confession.
Right.
A cardinal, probably.
Has to be.
Yeah.
The Pope is the head of his own country, right? Because the Vatican is a country city.
Okay.
Pope has his own hospital. Pope has no material. I didn't know that. No material possessions.
Makes sense, though.
Yeah. Not that he doesn't have anything. It's just that he doesn't technically own anything.
Right, right.
So does that mean if I was ever to become Pope, I'd have to give up my baseball card?
Yeah, but you
collection?
give it to a cardinal and then you borrow
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
when you need it.
Right. Yeah, Popes.
Popes the Vatican could be classified as the worst popes in history. I gotta be honest, I didn't read this article fully.
No, this is cool stuff.
But yeah, I figured it was kind of enlightening. Pope is one of the most 5 powerful people in the world, and that's what you don't see him making, like any legislation or anything like that. But he talks with presidents when they come and put as much as you want into that. I don't know.
It's a good question.
But you know, Trump is religious, and there are other Catholic presidents. So who knows?
Kennedy.
Yeah, Kennedy.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah. Thanks.
Good stuff.
What else you have?
No, I'm gonna. We can wrap it up. I was
gonna wrap it up with that.
I was gonna. No. I was gonna do. I'm still got Jared. I was gonna do.
Oh.
we're going to come back probably sooner than next Thursday for scheduled reasons. But Jared, I wanted to send a shout. Jared's birthday.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted him to end the show with your birthday. How did it go down? Where'd you go? And you got
How old
you got a photo,
how old
you got a
are
photo
you
for
now,
us.
Jared?
I'm 26.
Okay.
26.
All right.
Yeah, my birthday was this past Monday. So a while back, Scotty had mentioned on the show that he went to Manjin Lao for Easter.
Yeah.
So I'm a big Chinese food fan. It's like right across the street from here. I
Yeah.
had no
Yeah.
idea that it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
we could
that's
walk
right.
there if we
Yeah,
wanted to.
yeah.
Absolutely.
But
And they have carry-out, Jared.
I
So-
did not. Yes.
So
Yes,
if
they
you
do.
want to, when you're looking for food, you can always go to Minjun.
There you go.
Absolutely. I definitely recommend sitting down.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
if you
yeah.
can.
Nice atmosphere.
It is. It's a great. The waiter was like one of the. I love seeing places where customer services are still like a thriving thing.
Yes.
And it's competitive.
Yes.
Our waiter was great. But yeah, so I went there for my birthday. I got the Szechuan beef. Everything was great. They do this thing for your birthday where they put a mask on you, and then they light a firework in front of your face, and so this is what they did.
Nice.
Suddenly, I feel this like mask coming down over my head, and they're like, "We just sanitized it."
Right.
So what was the
Funny.
dessert you had?
It was just vanilla ice cream.
Oh, just
pretty
vanilla?
much like a run of the mill. But we didn't. I mean, we didn't pay for it. It was. We told them we weren't staying for dessert or anything, and they brought that
Still
out
brought it out?
quick. Yeah,
That's cool.
I almost left right before this happened. So glad.
Now, who did you have with you, real quick?
My mom, my dad, and my sister.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Awesome.
that was fun.
Yeah, I mean that's a great restaurant.
And my sister had just gotten her wisdom teeth out like 4 days prior.
Uh-oh.
But I don't know. Luckily, the food was soft enough she could eat it.
Yeah. Yeah.
a great restaurant.
Great restaurant.
Great
It
restaurant.
is. Is it the ambiance? The whole thing is good.
Yeah.
You know,
And it's right across the street.
right
from
across
here.
the street.
How about
We'll
that?
we'll have to go there and dine one day after a show or something or before.
Oh, yeah, anytime.
Yeah, absolutely.
I went there for Easter.
Oh, okay.
The day before Easter, actually.
Yeah.
Went there. Great food.
That's our Mr. Chow. Yeah, there's a
It's,
menu.
you know what I like about it is it's got that it's got the old school Chinese but it does have the newer stuff.
It's mixed.
Like sushi.
It's a mixture.
You know, they do have like some I think some more I don't know.
Yeah, it's a
I wouldn't-
mixture.
some Thai dishes maybe.
Yeah.
I think an Asian fusion maybe. Is that how you would say
I think it says Asian fusion
Okay.
on the sign out front, but it's very, like you say, it's classic Chinese,
Classic Chinese, yeah. Authentic.
authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
and
happy
it-
birthday, Jared.
Yeah, happy birthday, Jared.
Yeah,
You
that
guys?
Yeah.
that's always a good time out to dinner with the parents and the sister.
You know what I was going to tell you? I sent you something on Holly Berry.
I was going to say shout to Hallie.
But are you saying shout out to have it? Did you see what I sent you?
I saw it.
Did it make you jealous a little bit?
No, wasn't it like a?
Well, she was in bed with her boyfriend
But right,
and saying she was going to get her cheeks clapped.
wasn't that's crazy? That's.
I was
can't believe-
shocked that
I
she
can't believe
said
you
that.
I can't believe you just said.
No, but I mean that's what she said on there.
So I thought it was like the guy was like an AI. A prop
No,
or
that
something.
was her boyfriend.
No, I'm saying it was an AI. It wasn't real.
No, it was real. That's why I sent it to you. I thought I was going to piss you off.
No.
Had to have. That's what it said. She said that's what it said on Mother's Day. She was going to get her.
Well, hey, well, she does have kids, so it's not like she's not used. But I thought it was a prop. I thought it was a
No,
fake.
that wasn't AI.
Well, I'm gonna go with it being a fake. I don't believe it.
You're going to go with it being a
I'm
fake?
gonna go with shout
There
out
it
to
is.
her.
There it is. Jared brought it up.
See how fake that looks?
No, that's not fake. I think on the top it says she was going to get her cheeks clapped. That's what it said.
Yeah, I saw that. That's funny.
And that's actually a video. That's not, she has a whole video of it.
Is that a tape? Is that a freak off?
I didn't even know she had a boyfriend, did you?
Yeah.
You did know?
Yeah. I know everything about Hallie. Absolutely.
Interesting.
It won't last.
It won't last?
No.
Listen,
She's coming to Michigan.
she's coming to Michigan with Big Gretch.
Yep. She's got to come because they're on some type of
but
tour.
here-
They're doing something together.
But-
Oh, menopause. It's a menopause
So
thing.
do you think she's not? This isn't going to last because her relationship. She just doesn't know how to be in a great relationship because she's had so many. Bad ones?
Well, I don't think
Or
it'll.
she just doesn't know how to pick the right guy? What do you think?
I don't think it'll last because she likes me.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. And this is just a stall tactic.
Crazy.
Oh, Lord.
Shout to Hallie.
What are we going to do?
That's funny. I
actually, that whole video shocked me.
Yeah.
That
Well,
she would be laying in bed with her man
Somebody else did that.
saying that.
Several celebrities do that. I've seen that before.
Is that just to get likes and views?
Could be.
Is that what it is?
Like I said, I thought the guy looked like a mannequin. It probably was like a doll or something. She's probably doing it for clickbait or something. I don't believe it.
Well, anytime you say you want to get your, it is what it is. I mean, that's what it said. That's what that was her Mother's Day gift.
Oh wow.
She was getting down and dirty with her man. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yes.
All righty then.
Well, listen. I think that's going to wrap it up.
That'll wrap it up.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where we could go from this, guys. I really don't. So I'll tell you what. We'll be back next week.
We might be Wednesday.
Might be earlier than Thursday. We got to check it out from Jared first.
Okay, see what Jared says.
Because I'm running into some scheduling difficulties next week.
Yep.
But we'll be back, and of course, we will have more from Jared. We'll have Tony Blankenship will be
Blank's got
coming
some
back
stuff
on
going,
in
yeah.
the next couple of shows or so.
See if we can get Joey.
Sarah Sassy, I don't know if we're going to fire her or not. We haven't heard from her.
It's fired.
I think she's MIA down in Houston or Dallas or Waco or wherever she's at down there. We'll figure that out.
No call, no show.
I think she got. Maybe we scared her off because she blamed our generation for all of her generation's problems. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the nitty gritty of it.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean, hey, when all else fails, just blame the generation.
Right.
Right?
Well, we hope you're safe, Sarah, whatever you're doing. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we'll figure
But
something
you're still
out.
fired.
Yeah. and then of course EVJ will be making his return to the airwaves coming up, as a lot of you know him from the Roar.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, lots to do in the next coming months. Lions training camp. How will the Tigers fare by the next time we are on the air?
Rolling.
That and so much more, folks.
All right.
So we'll see you next time right here on the Co and Bro Opinion Show.